Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we are here for our F1 2024 predictions. Yes, it's that time of year, so let's get into it.
Starting off with the constructor standings, in 10th place we have Haas. Haas lost some key engineers during the winter break and Günther Steiner leaving. They were the slowest car last year and it's going to stay the same this year. There has already been some question marks over Gene Haas's lack of investment into the team, and this season could be very similar to 2021 for Haas. In second last, I've got Stake F1 team. I think it would be very close between them, Williams, and another team which I'll talk about after. But I don't see this as being a good year for the team before this Audi arrival. Next up is Williams. I think they will have an improved car, but the competition will be much higher. And I think, they will be battling for points, especially with Alexander Albon. I'm not sure how well Logan Sargent will do to back up the team. I have gone the French team Alpine in 7th. I think they're not in the right spot at the moment. Other teams developing more than them, and I don't see that ambition for the team to get farther up the order. They've got a good lineup, but I don't think the car will be there to fight for points consistently. Next up is Toro Rosso, Risa Kashabavi. I think, there's been some rumours that they've developed the car a lot. They're taking a lot of parts from the old Red Bull car from last season. So I think they will be fighting Aston Martin next year at the lower end of the points. Now, starting off with the top 5, I've got Aston Martin. I expect this to be a really close battle between them, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. I think Aston Martin are being outdeveloped at the end of last season, and I don't see them recovering from it immediately, but maybe getting some more performance at the end of the season. In 4th place, I've got Mercedes. This one I wasn't really sure about, but from what I've seen, I don't think they're going to be on the level of McLaren and Ferrari just yet. They were around Ferrari at the end of the season, but I think Ferrari have developed a quite good car for this season. And I think, Mercedes is going to finish 4th at the end of the season. Is it Ferrari? Is it McLaren? Is it Red Bull? It's McLaren. They had some great development at the end of last year, and I'm not really sure if they'll beat Ferrari or they'll be behind Ferrari. But I think it's going to be a very close battle between those two for 2nd place. I just leaked who's going to be 1st. We don't talk about that, but it's the prancing horses in 2nd place. Ferrari, I think they're going to develop a good car for 2024 season, but I don't think they can challenge Max Verstappen, but they can definitely challenge Sergio Perez and maybe get in the fight for the constructors, but it depends how fast that Red Bull will be in the hands of Max Verstappen. Your constructors champions for 2024 season is going to be Red Bull again. I think with Max Verstappen and how good that car was last season and how good it's expected to be this season, I don't see who could challenge him. Definitely other teams can challenge Sergio Perez if he's not up to speed with the car again, and that would make it a close battle. But I see Red Bull winning it again.
In last place, I've got Kevin Magnussen. He had a pretty disappointing year in 2023, probably the slowest driver along with Sargent, and I don't expect it to get any better for him. The Haas car is not looking good, and he is constantly being outperformed by his teammate Hülkenberg, so I don't see how it's going to get any better. Alright, in 19th, I have Zhou Guanyu. I think his pretty disappointing season went under the radar. I don't think he performed very well, especially towards the end. It mostly seemed like he was at the back most of the time, behind Bottas, and I think that what they're called stake now. I don't see how they're going to be a better car yet with that Audi influence coming, and I think this will be quite a mid-season for them. Next up, I have Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent had a pretty good debut in Bahrain. I think he was around 13th or 14th, but he pretty much fell from there. He had some good performances in qualifying, but other than that, it wasn't really a special season for him. But I think the Williams will be a better car this year. They've been improving rapidly. I think they will continue to do so. In 17th, I have Nico Hülkenberg. As I said earlier, I don't think Haas will have a good car this season. Probably the worst. And yeah, he will get some points, definitely, but I don't think it'll be as lot as he had last year. In 16th, I've got Valtteri Bottas. Adding on to what I said with Joe, I think the stake F1 car will be outdeveloped by like Williams and Visa Cash App. So yeah, I think they will fall behind. In 15th, I've got Daddy's Money, Lance Stroll. I'm not really sure where he's going to finish. I mean, sometimes he's quick, sometimes he's slow. But I've gone from 15th, but I think other teams will develop, other drivers will develop, and he just won't. Next up, I've got Esteban Ocon. Alpine's one of those teams which I'm not really sure where their pace is going to be. I think the likes of Visa Cash App will go ahead of them in performance. And I think they're just going to start falling behind like they did at the end of last season. In 13th place, I have Yuki Tsunoda. I think the Visa Cash App, as I've said before, it will be a much better car, probably taking more influence from the RB19, so I expect them to be much further at the front, definitely around Alpine or probably faster. But yeah, it's going to be quite competitive.
Now, for 12th place, I've got Alex Albon. He's done amazing in the Williams so far, and I think that car will continue to improve. And I expect the same results as last year, if not better. For 11th place, I've got Pierre Gasly. I said with Ocon, I'm not really sure where Alpine are going to be, but I think Pierre Gasly will probably get the best of Ocon this time. Before we get any farther into this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the top 10.
Starting off the top 10 with Daniel Ricciardo. I think that Visa Cash App car will be a pretty improved car, as I said with Tsunoda. I think at the end of last season, he did show why he can match Tsunoda, if not be better, especially in Mexico qualifying. So I think Daniel Ricciardo will be getting some good points once again. In 9th place, I've got Fernando Alonso. At the end of last season, Aston Martin fell off from the great form they had at the start of the year, and I think their form is going to be around the same, fighting at the bottom end of the points to maybe getting top 5s, or the occasional podium, or even win number 33. In 8th place, I've got George Russell. I think Mercedes, they're going to be very competitive with the likes of Ferrari and McLaren and Aston Martin. But I think Ferrari and McLaren will have the edge on Mercedes. And George Russell, I don't think he's up to pace with Lewis Hamilton. I think Hamilton will beat him like he did last season. So yeah, George 8th, but I think it'll be very competitive.
In 7th place, I've got Oscar Piastri. As I said earlier, I think the top 8, top 9 will be very competitive. And Oscar, he's still learning. He's not up to pace with Lando yet. But he might be right with Lando this season. It's difficult to tell. Now in 6th place, I've gone with the first Ferrari. It's Carlos Sainz. I think Ferrari, they've built a pretty good car for this year. But Sainz, he's not on the pace of Leclerc yet. And, it's his last year at Ferrari. I don't see him getting into that top 5. Starting off with the top 5, it's Sergio Perez. I think that Red Bull is going to be the best car again. It's quite obvious now. But I don't think he's going to be quite up to speed with it as Max is like last season. Yeah, Sergio Perez, P5. Now for 4th place, it's the departing Lewis Hamilton. His last year at Mercedes, I think he will get on the podium. Not sure about a win yet, but we'll have to see. And yeah, I think it'll be very competitive for who gets second spot in the championship. But Lewis Hamilton, P4. In 3rd place, it's Lando Norris. I think McLaren, they're going to have a good car again, like last season. Not as good as Red Bull and maybe around the same as Ferrari. I think Lando, hopefully, can get a win this season. But yeah, definitely, there'll be lots of podiums for him. Now, 2nd place, it's going to be Charles Leclerc. Ferrari, they've got a pretty decent car this year. Probably 2nd best, 3rd best. I think Leclerc can get some podiums if he's consistent enough, maybe a win. Now, the world champion, who else did you expect? It's going to be Max Verstappen. That Red Bull is not showing any signs of getting slower, and Max Verstappen's pace is unbelievable at the moment. So, yeah, Max Verstappen's going to be world champion for the 4th time. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as I say here, there are some weird echo noises from my microphone. And also, I was quite sick at one point. But thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys for the next F1 video.